Hi everybody, this is Lady Sweetheart and welcome to a very special video. So this is a video that I've actually been wanting to do for quite a while, partly because I get asked quite a bit about different things that I do or use to make my Sims. And so I thought, why not just start like this little mini series of some of my must-haves that I swear by when going into CAS and creating Sims. So it probably looks a little strange, like why am I in CAS with absolutely no CC? So the reason for that is I do today want to focus on my defaults that I swear by and also some of the custom sliders that I like to use. And I thought the easiest way to show off the defaults that I use and the difference that it makes would be to first kind of compare it with what a sim would look like, just EA, plain Jane, no custom content whatsoever. So this is a sim that I created a while back. Her name is Hope Lowell. She is in the gallery if you like her. She has absolutely not a speck of CC on her right now. And I did include my gallery name in the description. So if you would like her in your game, you can add her. But yeah, as you can see, she's perfectly fine, right? She's a pretty sim. But we're gonna take a look here in a second and see what she might look like with some CC. So let's first pop this makeup off so you can see her face a little bit better. Although I have to say, I absolutely love this eyeshadow. I think it's actually from, I think this is a luxury party one, if you can believe it. And basically what I did was I just kind of played with these sliders. These sliders are a game changer. I feel like it makes the EA makeup so much better and so much more usable. So yeah, another added bonus, if you do decide to add her to your game, you'll have this lovely custom shade of eyeshadow. So anyway, but yeah, we do want to take it off so we can see her face a little bit better. So this is what she looks like without any makeup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload this and I'm going to return to you when we get back in with the CC and kind of talk about what I have on her and, compare the difference between her EA style versus some of my CAS must-haves. So I will meet you back. Okay, so we are back here with some CC with Miss Hope here. So I will be putting a picture in the corner when we close up on Hope to talk about the defaults of what she looked like just with EA stuff, just to kind of do a little comparison. But before we get to that, I just want to talk about some very basic overall general CAS items that I like to use. So the first thing is, you guys probably know, if you're familiar with my channel, that I am a reshade person. I love using reshade. Reshade actually still works when you take your custom content out, believe it or not. So when we looked at her before, we still had reshade. However, when you take your screenshots, it is not there unless you use a special hotkey. But anyway, that's besides the point. But I do use reshade, and I also use a mod by Lumia that improves the CAS lighting. So I will definitely include that in the description. I am going to link everything I talk about today in the description so that if you guys want to use it in your game, you can. You will also notice when I click on her, I have more than 2 cast columns. I do use the More Cast Columns mod by Virbisu, and I prefer to use the 5 columns because, again, if you guys know me, you know that I have a literal ton of CC and just makes it so much easier to scroll through. But if you do get that mod, just make sure that you pay attention to the dimension requirements so that you don't have some of them run off the page. The other thing is I do use what's called a blob remover. So there's usually a little shadow or circle down here at the bottom. I just use that. It just makes the cast backgrounds look really nice. And you guys know I love my cast backgrounds. So anyway, those are just some real general things. The other one is I do have what's called the EA eyelashes remover. So let me pop this makeup off so you can just see her a little better. You'll notice that thick black line that you get with the EA eyes is gone. The reason I do that is because I do like to use some eyelashes in my game. I'll just pop some on really quick. I do use the Kajikos on everybody. These are my go-tos right here. you'll see like it just looks so much nicer. You can use them with the EA eyelashes, but I just think they look a little better with the EA no eyelashes mod, so I'm gonna link that for you as well. But yeah, so like Hope's face, I mean, she's still very pretty, but if you compare her to what she looked like without my defaults, she just looks a lot more soft here. And so let me just talk about what my default mods are that I use for my Sims. So the first one is my default skin. So this is probably one of the most important things, I think, for just being able to make Sims that you like the look of, but also to have Sims that kind of reflect your own style. It will definitely make your Sims kind of stand out and be more distinct when you use a default skin. So mine that I swear by is the cupidjuice sugar and spice blend. And the tragic thing is cupidjuice is an amazing custom content creator, but they have since stopped making custom content. So basically when they did the skin updates back in December, that skin broke. So I did use what's called a Cmar defaults fixer, which I will also link for you. And I took the old skin package and I fixed it with that application, so that way I could use it again. That is how much I love this skin. Like I said, you can just see like it just really softened her face so much. And so that kind of brings me to the other thing with the face is I do use a default lip replacement as well. If you look at her lips compared to the EA lips, I just love these lips so much more. To me, the EA lips look kind of plasticky almost. As you can see, these have a little bit of texture, and I just like that they're a little more rounded. Like when you look at the shape of the lips, I feel like that just looks a little bit more natural. Most people don't have pointier lips, they have more rounded lips, and so, you know, I just love it. I think this default skin with those default lip replacements, it just looks so nice. The next default that I always use in my game that I want to show you is default teeth. And so these are the default teeth that I use. These are actually fairly new from a creator called Ice Cream for Breakfast. I just really like how they look. I mean, honestly, I don't think the EA teeth are all that bad, but I just like these a little bit better. They are Maxis Match, so, you know, you may or may not like them depending on what your style is. But yeah, they do come with lots of different varieties, just like what they come in the game, like the braces, and then it's got like the gap, and there's even a few other styles of teeth that do not come with the game. I do, as you can see, also have some other like non-default types of teeth, just for a little bit of variety, but the ones that I use the most are just the default teeth that I have. So wanted to make sure that I showed you those. The other default that you will notice about her face is I do use default eyes, and have a few kinds that I really love and I sort of go back and forth on, but the ones that I'm currently using, and these are probably the ones that I use the most, are also by cupidjuice, and these are the cupidjuice quartz eyes. You will see I have a ton of eyes, but this is the color it gave her. It does look quite a bit different than the EA counterpart. I am mostly a Maxis Match simmer, especially when it comes to the face and the sim itself. So the eyes that I use are a little bit more cartoony as opposed to realistic. But yeah, these are what they look like. So yeah, let me find a blue so you can see that. The other kinds that I like, and I do have them mixed in here as non-defaults, but sometimes I'll put them as a default, are the Nord's Undotted Eyes, which, let me see if I can find one. This one is one. And I also really like the Whisper Eyes by Dangerously Free Jellyfish, which this is one, and I'm actually going to leave this one on, even though it's not my default right now, just because I think it matches her regular eyes that she had before a little bit better. So yeah, I will again link all of those eyes. And the very last default that I wanted to show you in this video is the default feet that I use. So these are actually a version of the Necrodog feet. I became quite sad because when Snowy Escape came out, they broke. Because, you know, Snowy Escape added that feature of Sims can take their shoes off if you have a shoe rack and you set it to that. Well, I tried that with the Necro Dog feet, and like my Sims would just put on these really funky shoes, so it didn't work. But someone else has since updated these feet because the creator Necro Dog is not making CC right now. So I was super excited to find these. These do work with the Snowy Escape patch, so you can still have your Sims take their shoes off if you like. I wish there was a way to zoom in on the feet so you can see better, but hopefully you can kind of see. And it does work for all ages. So if I turn her into a child, of course it's gonna give her shoes, why wouldn't it? But yeah, so you can see this is what they look like as a child and as a toddler. Yeah, so I just think they look so much better. And they even apply to male Sims as well. So it is not a female only thing. So let me see if I can show you that. Yeah, so anyway, I just like these so much better. I feel like the EA feet look awful. I mean, there's just no sugarcoating it. Whereas I said earlier that the teeth from EA don't look that bad. I feel like the feet look horrible. They look like blocks and rectangles on the bottom of their legs. Like I personally, you know, nothing against you if you like the EA feet, but honestly, I just really don't like the look of them. So I love these custom default feet. So let's go ahead though and get to the sliders. So the very first one that I want to talk about is the eyebrow sliders. We're just going to kind of start from the top and move down. So the first eyebrow slider that I use is one that lets you kind of come in a little bit more than the EA one. Like EA will let you do this with their regular slider, but like I could come all the way in like that if I wanted to. I mean, I probably won't, but you know, something like that I think looks nice. So that is the first eyebrow slider I have. And again, I will link that for you guys. And then the second one I use is something that you use, it's not detail mode, but it is from the side, is it does thicken the brows. So like if I wanted her eyebrows to be thicker, what I would do is I just grab the corner here and you just pull up and see how that really thickens her brows. I'll see if I can find one of my thinner brows just to kind of show you, because sometimes like you might find a brow you like maybe you want to, that one's not that thin. Maybe you want to use this one, but see how it's kind of thin there in the corner? I can still use it and just kind of go like this. And then she's got thicker eyebrows, or I can pull it in a little bit more. So those are my two eyebrow sliders that I like to use. I am gonna link those for you. So let's go ahead and move on. So now this is the part of the face that I know I've gotten a lot of questions about, is the lips. So the very first thing, again, I'm gonna bring you back to the default lip replacement I use. It is just amazing and it does so much for the Sims. But I also use several sliders. So I want to share those with you guys. So the first one is something that allows you to kind of change how open the mouth is. And this is done in detail edit mode. This is actually part of a set of Obscurus lip sliders that I will link for you. And I believe they're all done through detail mode, but it will tell you on the page when you download it. So the one I use the most is you just go into detail mode and you just lift like that. You can either lift up, and I'm gonna kind of turn her a little bit more this way so you can kind of see what's happening. But you just grab the corner and you can either pull up or down. And as you can see, it can create this nice little open mouth look. So if you want your Sims to have like a slightly open mouth, you can use this. Now, when I made Azura, I use this on her. Like that's why she has like the sort of open lips. And I like it because if you want to use like a lipstick that does that, it ends up adding extra teeth. And so like this way you can have that look and you don't have to worry about the extra teeth that the lipstick ones do. So another slider that I like to use is also done through the detail mode, and this one is Miko's Pouty Lip slider. And for this one, if you do get the Obscurus sliders too, there's a couple of sliders of the Obscurus set that you have to leave out for this Miko one to work. And so when I put that information in the description, I will make sure to let you know which sliders to keep out if you're interested in getting both. So for this one, it's actually from the other side, and you can pull not the corner, but the bottom lip up or down, and you can see it changes the shape of her lips. So like I could go for something like that, or if I wanted to lift up, I can end up with this type of look. Now, I only recently got this slider, so I'm still pretty new at it, but like so far, oh, wrong thing. That's what that back arrow's for. It's really handy for that. But yeah, so far I am loving it. I just think it is such a beautiful, beautiful look that you can create for your Sims. And the final lip slider that I use that really, really can customize your Sims lips is by Tan Moon. And this one's really simple. When you're not in detail mode, you just grab the corner of the lip and you can make the lips bigger. So like I could make her lips up to that big, or again, you can make them smaller. So I could give her teeny tiny lips. And this one is handy because I'm sure you guys have noticed, but the EA presets, which that brings me to another mod that I was gonna mention. I have the More Presets mod. And so that's why I have these are custom presets, but I have all of these lip presets. So many that my computer can't even load them all at the same time. But yeah, so what I want to show is sometimes you might find a lip that you really like the shape of, but you're kind of limited in terms of how big you make it. So like, let's say I wanted to use this, but you know, I'm kind of limited as to how big I can make it. Like I can only kind of make it that big. And that's really as full as I could get her lips. But with that Tan Moon slider, I can just grab this and I could just make her lips bigger if I wanted to. But still keep that shape. Let's play with that pouty lip slider just because, you know, it's still kind of new and fresh for me. Yeah, so those look super pretty, right? So it brings me to a couple more sliders that I use for the body of the Sim. And so I'm actually going to put her in her, maybe her swimwear, or yeah, probably her swimwear, just to kind of show it a little bit better. But the first one is I do use a custom hip slider by Lumia, and this one is super simple. You just grab their hips and you can pull up or down. I like to use it to pull it down. It just gives your Sims like this beautifully shaped longer torso. And it just makes their hips look, and the top of their thighs look really nice. I can pull it up, and this is like as far down as it goes. So yeah, that is the first one. It is the Lumia hip slider. And I also used a custom butt slider. Okay, so this is by Cmar. And this one you can control in a couple of ways. So the first one is from the side. You know, you have your normal EA one, but you can also pop it up, and it gives it that nice little pop at the top. And obviously you can adjust depending on how you want, or you can even pull it down so that they have more of a downward curve. And then from the back, you can pull it up like this and see how it's changing the shape of her hips, or you can pull it down. And you also have right to left, and so you can see that just gives her more of like a pop in her hips. So that is the Cmar butt slider. So anyway, guys, those are what I would consider my CAS must-haves. Like I said, I will link all of that in the description for you. Hopefully this was something you found helpful. So if you guys are interested, I could do a part 2 of the series and just kind of share some of the skin details that I love. So let me know if you'd like to see that. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you here on my channel. Don't forget to drop a comment below, guys. I always love hearing what you have to say. It really, honestly does make my day. And I'll see you later. Bye.